Hi Gemini, and welcome to your April 2020 general reading. So yes, I hope wherever you are in the world that you're safe from harm, and that all your loved ones are safe from harm, and that we all come to realise that everyone is our loved one. So I was sort of struggling to work out how can I mostly help, and I just thought I would begin to do some readings. Okay, so my service to the whole. So I'm just going to pull you one card before I shuffle the rest of the deck. This card came out twice. It flew out the deck before I even started your reading, and then it came out again. So flexibility, that very not to get rigid, not to get stuck. To have this openness is almost like to have the mind of a child. Open to new ideas, not too fixed. Openness, basically. But if you think about it, rigidity is a state of not being healthy. And flexibility is about flow, opening to new ideas, new suggestions. So let me have a look at your reading. I have to tell you, you're my 6th reading. And just about every single sign has pulled almost identical cards. It's very odd. Every single sign has got the Ace of Cups. It's like and that's very paralleled with the astrology, that there's a protection, Gemini. I know it's really hard to see that there's a protection governing us, but there is. It can be so hard to see at times. But every single card, every sign has pulled almost identical readings. And I shuffle the card so you can see it. What I have been doing, if it helps, I'm asking for my readings to bring forward. I'm going to shuffle one more time actually, just in case. Sorry, it's me shuffle. Bring forward hope for people. So maybe they're coming across as a little bit positive. I don't know. 2 of Swords behind you with the World card. So I don't know if some of you are already in isolation, total quarantine, social distancing. The 2 of Swords, I don't get a bad card. A lot of people feel it's a constraint card. She's got a golden blindfold on. So I think the deeper meaning of that card is trying to find balance. But it's not like the 8 of Swords, which just feels like restriction. But it definitely, you're a very sociable sign, Gemini. So maybe there's a sense of being a bit cut off. Again, the 2 of Swords with the World card. I mean, the World card is a concluding card. It's the last major arcana. It's about personal mastery. And she's looking right at that 2 of Swords, and almost like you seem to be working something through. The nodes move into Gemini in May, which means Gemini is going to be the star of the show. All the attention's going to be into your sign. And when we have that sort of emphasis on our sign, it's always a really big time for us. What you want is the Knight of Pentacles. The gift is a 7 of Pentacles, okay? So I'm really feeling this. Who got similar? I think it was Libra. There was just all this very slow earth. But in Gemini, I promise you, I know a lot of people are suffering. You're going to have to trust me on that one. But this is all about slowing down. 1, 2, 3 signs. And even the World card is Saturn. And Saturn is this earth sign. Can I just carry on? The challenge is the Page of Wands. Your relationships, you've got the Page of Swords, might be some communication going on. Money and work, you've got the Nine of Wands. Four of Pentacles at a soul level. Then the Knight of Swords and the Lover's card as the outcome, which is your own card. I might have to find you, I might have to do a few more shuffling for you. It's funny, Libra almost got identical cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a lot of protection cards. So with the protection cards, it might just be Gemini that a lot of people watching. I mean, most of us have been asked to social distance at the moment, cut off from people. Now what you want is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is a very, very slow moving card. This might be a person, it'd be an earth sign person. But this Knight of Pentacles is a strange card, is what you most want. It's almost like a part of you wants this slowing down. Because it is a movement card. It's the slowest moving knight, but he does move, he's on a horse. But it's almost like wanting very, very slow change. And what's helping you get that is the Seven of Pentacles. So these are both not far off pause cards, Gemini. And if what you're looking for this month, actually the end of the month looks quite exciting. A lot of movement and action. But if what you're looking for this month is a slowing down, you've definitely got a slowing down. The Page of Wands is already the challenge. The Page of Wands is about action, movement, creativity, new potentials, new ideas, and it is a challenge. So why is it a challenge? Is this not going to be the time? Yeah, it's with the Ace of Pentacles. So for some of yous, maybe your attention has been looking outwards. A lot of us have been asking. The grail question in life is, how can I serve at the moment? What's the best I can do? As these are the challenge, maybe bringing forward something new into the world is not the ideal time. Okay? Because what you want is this very, very slow earth energy, and the gift is the Seven of Pentacles. So they're both cards. If you look at the people, they're contemplating and they're reflective. Now, what's this little page doing here? Because your outcome is the Knight and the Lovers, they both came out together. So for some of you, this might be communication in a relationship, which by the end of the month, it's going to up a pace, because you want to start a page that becomes a Knight. Yeah, that's what you want, and that's going on, which is so interesting. So for some of you, maybe this is some sort of, because it's the Page of Wands and the Page of Swords, it'd be like an attraction, very slow attraction. It's only a page, yeah? And you want to see how it's developing, how it's growing over time. So the Page of Swords is about communication. Tell me more about this Page of Swords, because he's got, can be a little bit of a, someone observing you from afar. Actually shows up quite a lot. That, and when you do readings on this Page of Swords, you find there's a lot of stuff going on, but the page doesn't tend to show much because it's with the Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles can be about feeling separate from someone. I don't think, for some Geminis, you're okay with this separation because of these energies. It's like some of you want to pause it. But this is about communication, to heal a rift between you and someone else. That's the energy of your relationships. And if you think about it, one of the spiritual reasons for crisis is a re-looking at your value systems. So healing any separations, any divisions between you and another person. And right through the history of the world, in times of crisis, a lot of people have seen it as an opportunity to bridge gaps. Yeah, because the Five of Pentacles, one of the people has got their hat, see, and the light. So the Five of Pentacles about 6 months ago. So every card in my deck takes on a new meaning quite a lot of the time. And I think my tarot, because I'm an astrologer, they work really well together. This is about healing the wound of division. And it's through the Page of Swords, so it's going to be about communicating and trying to bridge a gap between you and other people. If you look, one person's protecting the heart here. Might be you, might be the other person. I'm going to ask for an advice for you for this. Yeah, you got it too. Every single person's got it. Every single sign. If they haven't got it in their initial spread, it's been a clarifier. So what heals the wound of separation is this unified field of, I mean, sorry to seem like some spaced out cadet, but love is what heals the wound of separation. That's it. Because this is the eye of the divine, and when I said I'm really mindful of my words, because I know a lot of people are suffering, but there's a lot of very, very benign astrological aspects going on for us at the moment that would seem that we're being guided and we're being led. So the 3 cards that you've got is about healing rifts in your relationships. It could be with family members, could be with people that could be with loved ones, could be people that a wall has divided up and this Ace of Cups comes along and the wall starts to fall down and this beautiful nectar starts to heal the rift. And really, really, quite often the Five of Pentacles is someone's heart has shut down. I'm not saying yours is shut down. You might be dealing with someone to a certain extent, because none of us escape having our heart broken in this world. It's almost safe to say a lot of us have got wounded hearts, Gemini, okay? And if it's not ours, we're dealing with someone who's got one. What heals it? It's cards at the Ace of Cups. It's about unconditional love. And it looks like there's a little bit of healing on that. Now the 9 of Wands in your money house. So this is about protecting, being quite guarded. It's okay. I don't think many of us, quite a lot of us are there at the moment. We're all very, very activated on the survival front. Spiritually, you've got the 4 of Pentacles. So these are 2 cards. And I wonder if that's also showing up in your relationships. Someone might be very, very protected at their heart. And what I'd say, Gemini, because it's showing up in your soul position, it's very, very likely to be you. Now please don't shout at me. The meditation I'm doing at the moment is of opening my heart and taking down the walls around it, because life causes it to shut down in order to survive. But anyhow, let me go to 9 of Wands. Why is this going on for this? This is quite often about being protective about something. 9 of Wands. It might be some of you. Just let me carry on. Why the 9 of Wands? Okay, you get the 6 of Wands. There's quite heavy energy around your money. Exhaustion. Having to fight for these wands behind here, which sometimes can be a bit fighting for survival. The good news is you also got the Six of Wands. So these are all fire energy. So fire energy is very, very our action, our life force. There's going to be some victory. And the Ten of Wands tends to talk about very difficult periods coming to an end. But maybe some of you are a small business fighting to survive. Or there's something going on, some sort of some of you might work in a school, in a health environment, somewhere where you're having to guard yourself, and you're obviously very, very tired. But the Six of Wands speaks of some very, it's a card of success, victory after struggle. Let me just carry on here. Now, again, you've got the Four of Pentacles at a soul position. And because of the Five of Pentacles and that Page of Swords there, that's about, oh, the Five of Pentacles is gone, but one of the characters is also shielding the heart. And the Ace of Cups wants you to begin to melt that wall. Now every single, it's like, you know, like scar tissue. We all, I don't think there's anyone in this world that's not been wounded, or anyone who's not had their heart broken, who doesn't have a certain amount of closeness around that area. And it would seem to me that's exactly what you're dealing with. There's almost a pause here. And this pause seems to be something that you're quite happy with. Even though that it looks like there's a little bit of a stress, either about getting something off the ground, going after a new avenue. It's not going to be the time to pursue new things, okay? Everything's sloppy. It's all about way slowing down and attending to our hearts and the people that we love, any rifts that have came up. It's about a reassessment of our value system. That's the way to spiritually handle this crisis. When the I becomes a we, then we actually begin to enter into, I don't use the word new age because I really struggle with the terminology, but we are in that period of great change now. And when the I becomes a we is when we enter into that new place, and really steadily that's how the world is progressing, and that's where we're going. Can I jump to the outcome? I'm sure a lot of you want me to jump to the outcome. So the page moves to the Knight, so things are speeding up with the Lover's card. So this is about healing love. Is there anything that clarifies? I want to almost get, I'm going to use another deck, actually. That's what I'm going to do. This is about healing that, because that the lover's story is all about choice, yeah? It's sometimes about going down another pathway. It's about saying yes to that feeling in your heart, using the heart as your emotional barometer, and saying yes to what feels right. I need to try and find out a little bit more what's going on here, especially around relationships. That's very interesting. Your reading is extremely relational, probably more than anyone else's. Oh, Venus is going into Gemini, isn't it? Is that okay? And I think it's going retrograde in Gemini. So it's almost going to stay in Gemini for 3 months, and the node is going to meet up in Gemini, which the nodal axis is always about destiny, by the way. I want to find out more about your relationships. There seems to be something very deep going on here. Yeah, Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is about reaching out. He always turns up, but he's a bridger of a gap. That's what he does, Page of Pentacles. And then you get the Eight of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. So I think for some of you this might be a family situation. Some family relationships have become divided. Okay, because the Ten of Pentacles can be about that. But the Ten of Pentacles is about you with other people. So moving into much more unity. But what seems to have to happen here, Gemini, and I think I can say this as well, because the fact that when Venus goes retrograde into a sign doesn't happen that often. There's real focus on that sign, on the love nature. So it goes in, it goes retrograde, so it's almost there for about 2 or 3 months. So it's definitely going to be a summer of relationships for you, or a spring of them. But when a planet goes retrograde, it's always because there's things that have been left behind. A lot of people might say we can't really go forward properly until does everything ever get complete? I'm not sure. But we can do it within our own minds. We can tie up loose ends. We can make apologies where they're required. Sometimes, you know what? The other day I accepted an apology that I never got. I just made up that I got it. And I actually just emotionally decided that I had received the apology. And I don't know if everyone's got the Ace of Cups. Is that what's going on here? Is it about having this mass amnesty, but around our hearts? Because yours is about healing a rift here, or a division. If not a division, a way that you've guarded yourself from connection. And it was always going to be a big spring for Gemini anyhow. And because of these showing up a bit very reflective cards, I would really use this month, Gemini. Imagine and start to contemplate what is unfinished in your life. Because the Ten of Pentacles is a completion card, and the Seven of Pentacles is the gift. So it's almost like a pause before the movement. Sometimes I believe everything I ever want is just behind that finish line, but to get there, there can be no residues, no rifts have not been healed. No, that seems to be what this reading's about, Gemini. Because trust me, you want the energy coming for you. And because of all the Venus activity, we're all going to be asked over the summer to heal divisions in our relationships, places where our hearts have shut down, but none more than you, by the way, because it's in your sign and it's where the North Node is going. So we're going to be communicating, expressing ourselves. And that's what I said, accepting apologies that are never going to turn up, but saying thank you for that. But it's to set our souls free. It's to move to cards like this Ace of Cups, where we live our lives in a different way. And I want another message for you. What is the meaning of all this here? It almost feels a bit, oh Gemini, you'll never believe the card that you just pulled. Yeah. Woohoo. Broom as well. A broom. Think of the witch's broom. It goes through, it sweeps all the cobwebs or like a sage stick that clears all that crap out of our lives, because you want to go to your future with a blank slate. And you know what? So I accepted that apology, and I took it back and thought, no, not forgiving them. What is all that about? Is that duality, isn't it? It's like good twin, bad twin. You know, I'm not a Gemini, but everyone's got Gemini somewhere. I will open my heart. No, I won't. And beginning to see through the eyes of love, because the eyes of love only has one eye, so it's not a divided energy. Really, really big month. I think really what this reading's about is getting ready for May, June and July for you, by the way. It's a good time. The house that I've got Gemini in, I'm trying to sweep clean to allow in this beautiful new energy, because you know what, Gemini, I'm in the mood for some beautiful new energy. Very interesting. Love to know how it's working out for you guys. If you ever feel like letting me know, that's how I learn. Okay, much love. Bye.